And then, of course, you understand that the talk shows have to go. They won't do that right up front, nor will they do it in a head-on assault because they know that they'll hit a stone wall. So what they do is first they go to their communist friends in England, and they say, look, you're putting together a list of Muslims who should be banned from the country because they want to destroy England, they want to convert you. Some of them, in fact, were in jail for 10 years for having killed immigrants. Throw Michael Savage's name into that mix, too, so that when we come after him on trumped-up charges, we can use the evidence that you banned him, that he's not a good person at all. And, of course, Jackie Smith went ahead and said, okay, he's a bad person, he's on the list. So now my lawyer writes to them and says he never said these things, and they say, well, he needs to repudiate what he said anyway. So the lawyers go back and forth now, letter after letter after letter, and say, he never said these things. These are taken out of context by the Stalinist group Media Matters, funded by George Soros. Hillary Clinton wanted Media Matters to exist so they could skewer conservatives and put them out of business, even though that blowhard egomaniac Limbaugh won't lift the golf club, even though Wallbanger won't lift the hammer, and even though the hemorrhoid won't lift any Preparation H, I keep on fighting. I keep on fighting with your help. And after Labor Day, I'm going to do a direct appeal to every member of Congress. And I know they're busy, but a terrible injustice has been done. My name must come off that list. My name will come off that list, whether it's in a court of law or when the conservatives take office. I want it done sooner rather than later, because every day my name stays in that list, the more dangerous it becomes for me and for everybody else. I know that the dark forces in the Obama administration who set this up and set me up are planning their next move. And I know that they're going to cite what England did to make their move against me in America and try to get me off the radio. I can guarantee that they're going to do this. The government said, we don't care what you say. He must renounce himself in order to be possibly removed from the banned in Britain government list. This is something that the Soviet Union specialized in. They would call in doctors, they would call in authors, they would call in musicians, they'd call in engineers, they'd call in teachers. Anyone who opposed the Soviet system was called before a bureaucrat on the order of one of the Obama minions and told to repudiate their views, even if their views were rational, even if they were reasonable, even if they were orderly and made sense and not violent. The Soviets said, you have become an enemy of the state, you must repudiate your views, and then we might take you off the list. The minute the individual repudiated the views that they didn't even state, they were sent to a re-education camp. What this government in England is trying to do is get me to say I said these things when I didn't, so they can then say, well, since you actually said them, which you've just admitted, because you repudiated them, we're now going to keep you on the list forever with the murderers. Now you say, well, I'm sorry, Savage, but I could care less. We have bigger problems with Obama. Yes, you do, and yes, you do, and I understand that. But somehow in the mix of all of what is going on, somehow with the meltdown of our freedoms and the meltdown of our medical system, the finest in the world, and these cretins want to re-engineer an entire system when they can't re-engineer a pencil. They want to take the finest medical system in the world, despite all of its warts, and destroy it and rebuild it in some image that they don't even know what Frankenstein will emerge. I understand these problems are bigger than my own, but I can't be lost in the midst of this blizzard of troubles. I must be my own advocate. I must continue to remind you that my fight for freedom of speech is your fight for freedom of speech. We found in letters sent by the British government before they put my name on the list that there were individuals in the government itself who said we can't do this because we may be seen as duplicitous in that he didn't say any of these things. They went ahead anyway. Here's the quote right now. I think we could be accused of duplicity in naming Savage. The internal email communications included a message from an unnamed civil servant whose cautions were ignored. He said, I think we could be accused of duplicity in naming Savage. But they went ahead anyway. In addition to this, the British Home Secretary has a press release that is still up, which says that the controversial daily radio host has led others to commit serious criminal acts. Now, you know that that's entirely false, because had my freedom of speech led to criminal acts, I wouldn't be in radio for 15 years. I wouldn't have lasted this long. I would have been off the air. At no time have I ever provoked or sought to provoke others to commit crimes or serious criminal acts. Now, I've appealed to you to contribute to the Savage Legal Fund on michaelsavage.com. I want to remind you that I need your help now and I need it tomorrow, but more than your donations, I need you to keep this issue alive. Because come September, I am going to launch a public relations campaign to Congress. I'm going to ask the Republicans who still consider themselves fair. I'm going to ask the Blue Dog Democrats, who are very cognizant of the power of talk radio and their reelection desires, to get behind the desire for Michael Savage to be treated fairly. Remember, an innocent man has been condemned. You say, hey, what's the big deal? You're enjoying the publicity. That's a very cynical view, and I can understand it because I'm a cynical guy. But let me tell you something. If you know somebody who enjoys waking up in the middle of the night and trying to think about how he's going to get out of this thing, if you think that I enjoy spending my every moment thinking about this, you're more cynical than I am, my friend. I wouldn't wish this on you. But I warn you, if we have a government now of Obama that has a Rahm Emanuel in it, who has a brother named Ezekiel Emanuel, who is on record writing things in medical journals over the years that should make anyone look up and say this can't be going on in America. How do you not suspect that this government under Obama was not duplicitous and not in conspiracy with the British government and having my name put on that list? After all, it was Hillary Clinton herself who boasted a few years ago that with George Soros's money, she created a group called Media Matters. Media Matters, as you well know, specializes in taking sound bites of Michael Savage, Rush Limbaugh, Bill O'Reilly, and other conservatives, and removing them from the context in which they are said in an attempt to hang the individual on false statements. And so, as I say, I'm first. I am the canary in the mine shaft. But Limbaugh, being the egomaniac that he is, Hannity being the insecure infant that he is, the hemorrhoid being the imbecile that he is, have done nothing because they don't understand the danger that they themselves are in. But I'm going to play for you now the Hillary Clinton Media Matters clip if you think I'm making this up. Listen to it.
Institutions that I helped to start and support, like Media Matters and Center for American Progress, we're beginning to match what I had said for a year.
Let's stop right there. So here she is on record saying that she helped create Media Matters. So when you understand that this picking of Michael Savage did not happen in a vacuum, that there is collusion between the Obama administration and the far-left socialist Labour government of England, you understand that I'm not making these things up. That's what I think. Moreover, I've asked Hillary Clinton to intervene on my behalf. You say, well, that's absurd. It isn't absurd. She is the Secretary of State for all American citizens. That means citizens she doesn't even agree with. Why is she so concerned with the human rights of illegal aliens? Why is Hillary Clinton so concerned about the human rights of Mexicans who are not even here legally, yet she has no concern for the human rights of Michael Savage? Why is that? I'll let you figure the 2 and 2 here, and you'll come up with 4.